Howdy and welcome back. In CS128, you're going to be developing your solutions to the MPs, lab works, etc. inside a kind of computer inside of your own computer. This will either be a virtual machine or a Docker container, depending on which version of our development environment you installed. So first and foremost is that we have to go ahead and boot up that kind of machine within inside your own machine. If you're using the Vagrant environment, that means you've already, or hopefully at this point, you'll need to start it up. So go ahead and execute that Vagrant up command within your CS128 environment directory. If you're using our Docker container, go ahead and execute your Docker start. This in both these commands essentially is achieving the same thing within their respective virtual environments. We're booting up that computer inside your computer. And upon doing so, we're going to be ready to connect to it and interface with it through Microsoft Visual Studio Code. So my environments or my computer within my computer, my Docker container is already booted up, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how to connect to it. So go ahead and launch Microsoft Visual Studio Code. At this point, a nice welcome and inviting window will show up, which will give you a couple of options. Right now, this window is currently bound to your local environment, the computer that you're actually typing on. What we'd like to do is go ahead and connect to that machine within inside your machine. And to do that, we're going to open up the command palette. On Mac, I can access this by pressing down Command-Shift-P. I'm not sure what the Windows shorthand is for it. However, if you go up to the task bar view, the first option should be, or within the first couple of options should be the command palette. Click it. And what you're going to see open up here is going to be a window such as this. The command we're looking for is connect to a host through the Remote Ssh. Go ahead and click on it. And what you're going to see here is a new window, which is going to ask you, well, hey, which remote host would you like to connect to? We're going to go ahead and connect to our virtual environment. To do so, irrespective of whether or not you're using Vagrant or Docker, it's going to be the same step here. And essentially everything from directly after the boot up to shutdown will be identical, irrespective of which version of the environment you're using. So we'll go ahead and write Vagrant at 127.0.0.1, and we're going to connect to that virtual device on port 2222. We'll go ahead and click enter, and we'll see a new window is going to be launched here, which means I'm going to have to change the window I'm sharing with you. And you can see up here that it's prompting us for a password. Essentially what the previous command said is I would like to connect to the machine located at that IP address 127.0.0.1, which is essentially local host, which is the machine you're currently operating on. And then we're going to connect on port 2222, which will actually get us into that virtual environment through some different forwarding mechanisms that we've set up for you. So we'll go ahead and enter the password at this stage in the game. The password is just Vagrant. See here the feedback that we've typed it, and we'll hit enter to go ahead and complete the connection process. What we can see down here is that we are indeed connected to the virtual machine, which means that we can access the files that are going to be stored within inside of it. So if I go ahead and click on this file explorer up here, I can choose to open up a directory on the remote machine. So I'll go ahead and say open the folder, and it's going to ask which folder would you like to open. For most of the assignments, you're going to go ahead and select the folder associated with a particular assignment. In other words, we're always going to open up the folder for the project, whether it's an MP, lab work, or otherwise that you'd like to work on. But for the purposes of just this brief demonstration, I'm going to go ahead and connect to the home directory to illustrate a couple of important things for you. So I'll click OK, and we can see here that the window is going to change a little bit. Over here in the left-hand corner, you should see two folders, Ben and Circ, which is going to stand for source. Cert is going to be the directory that's shared between your local machine and the virtual environment in which you'll be developing inside of. So this folder is kind of your gateway of your connection between the two environments. So outside of this Visual Studio Code window, let me pull up, my directory where this is. I believe it's here. If I go ahead and show you my CS128 environment folder, this source folder is on my local machine, but we've gone ahead and essentially shared it with the virtual device. So that means if I create a file here, I will have access to it within my virtual machine. Vice versa, if I can go ahead and create a new folder, file, or otherwise in the virtual machine, it will show up here because it is the same folder. It is shared between the two devices. So let me just go ahead and illustrate that real quick. So we'll pop back over here and let's go ahead and, I don't know, we'll create a new folder for giggles. I guess we can put it inside source to illustrate this sharing, and I'll just call it test. And then if I pop back and remember, the Visual Studio Code window right now is connected to that computer kind of within inside of your computer, right? But remember, this source folder is shared between your computer and the computer inside your computer. So if I go ahead and pop back over to my Finder window, you can see here that, okay, cool, that folder was indeed created on my local device. And let's say I had some files that were associated with a solution to an MP. I could very easily, navigate to that folder in the Prairie Load submission upload to the AutoGrader and select those files that I had been interacting with through the VM. Notice that if I were to create a directory outside of that, so that's, I don't know, we can put it in the bin folder. Let me pop back over to VS Code. So if we create a folder with inside that bin folder in the home directory, well, that directory is not shared with our local machine, which means when I come back over here, as one might suspect, we can't see it. We don't have access to it. So if you're not putting the files that you'll need to submit to the AutoGrader within this source folder, it's going to be problematic when you need to get them out of the virtual environment to submit them to our AutoGrader. So just do everything inside of this shared folder. Ensure that you have one folder per assignment. So each MP should get its own folder. Each lab work should also get its own folder. And actually through the process for which we'll have you pull down the starter code, it should create its own folder for you to help move you in that direction. So with that, hopefully this process added maybe a little bit of more information in terms of, what this virtual development environment is, how it is connected to your local machine, where you should be putting your source files associated with the assignments that you'll be authoring solutions to in this course. And in addition to that, hopefully, you can see how to connect to the virtual environment through Microsoft Visual Studio Code at this point. When you're done, you'll go ahead and just close out the window and make sure that you remember to go ahead and shut down your virtual environment. That would be Docker stop or vagrant halt, depending on which version of our development environment you're using. So with that, I'll go ahead and end this video and I'll begin preparing for the next. Thanks, everyone.